Hey, Exes, thanks for joining us today. I received a DM from someone really special. She's local, lives up in Silver Lake in LA, and I had to have her on the podcast. Please go check her out if you don't know about her already. Her name is Kathleen Ives. She's not only a spiritual doula, but she also is a book author, 7 Ways to Live in Joy. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast.
Of course.
So, first off, my most favorite thing to do, especially with someone who is an author and a first-time author, I believe, right?
Yes.
What is your why on creating this book?
Oof. I wanted this book 5 years ago
Okay.
when that version of me needed those words.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about it and I was like, what have I learned that could help others? I went through this journey. I went through the dark night of the soul, the everything.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, how do I make these words accessible for other people to use the tools that I have used and created that work?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, it's going to be a book. And I started completely out of order. I didn't know it was going to be doors. I was like, okay, chapter 1. No, I structured it in a way where I always felt kind of anxiety about huge books or a lot of self-help books because
Right.
I don't want to read a 400-page dissertation. Like, I just want things I can implement into my life
Right.
easily.
Right.
So that's where the doors came in,
Mhm.
where any door you open is the door you're supposed to open. You don't have to start in the beginning. You don't have to read to the end. If you want to open door 5, put it down for a while, you'll get what you need. It's almost like book tarot.
Right.
So that was really my why. And a lot of things I do for past versions of myself that didn't have that.
Mm-hmm. No, I think it's amazing. And it's like you're creating something that you wish someone had given to you
Exactly.
when you needed it.
Yeah.
So I know when you and I first originally connected, something that really stood out to me was you were originally in corporate America.
I was.
And so let's take the followers and the viewers through your personal journey of coming out of corporate America and coming into the spiritual realm. Or has
Ooh.
this always been a part of you? It's just something you needed to fully fall into, jump into, or, dip your toe in a little bit.
I think for a long time, this one needs a sip of water. So my journey truly began when I was little. I was very empathic. I was very sensitive. I was in touch with people's emotions way grander than my age. And so I never really knew what that meant, what that capacity to feel meant.
Right.
And as I get older, I'm a teenager, I'm going through life, I'm in college, I'm doing all these things. Like, I kind of turned off a lot of that part of my brain. I always felt that sensitivity, but I didn't lean into it because it's kind of scary to feel that much.
It is scary. And it's very overstimulating.
It's very overstimulating.
Mhm.
And at the time I was in a relationship for so long, 10 years. So
Wow.
I really had
That's like a marriage.
Exactly.
Mhm.
It was like a common law.
Yes.
And, we were so young and we grew up together and we learned so much, but I gave so much energy to that and to that person that I didn't hold any for myself.
Right.
And I don't fault them so much as my balance of what I was giving. I wasn't giving anything to myself anymore.
Right.
And I started to lose myself. And through that process, I would look in the mirror and I didn't even recognize myself. And I would try all these things to feel good. Got a bunch of Botox. I'd go get a bunch of lip filler. I'd dye my hair blonde 87 times. Like, I kept changing my hair color. I kept doing different clothes. Like, I would try so many material things to feel more myself.
It's like you were chasing it.
I was chasing it.
Mhm.
I was like, where is she? Where is she? I'm trying to find her.
Right.
And I realized after I left that relationship, all of this energy that now I sit with, that's mine, I'm not giving it to anyone else. And what am I going to do with that?
Right.
And like, I was here the whole time. I was just in here.
Right.
And so once people don't realize, like, you only have a finite amount of energy. Yes,
Correct.
you can have more energy, work out, eat well, whatever, but you choose to spend it in certain ways.
Mhm.
And so I like to think of energy spend kind of as the stock market. And like,
Yes.
all the people in my life are different stocks.
Yes.
And some stocks you've had when you were little and you just have them grandfathered in. Some stocks you got when you were a child. Some you just bought, but they're giving a lot to your life. Like, I like to invest my energy in those relationship stocks.
Right.
Like, depending on how it's affecting my life currently.
Right.
And so once I had all this energetic investment,
Mhm.
I had to be like, okay, where am I going to put it now?
Right.
And so my sensitivities heightened. I started feeling these crazy feelings, and I could like sense people. I could sense people that had passed. I felt like they were like thoughts would just pop into my head, images, and even sometimes songs or smells or pieces of jewelry, heirlooms. And I'm like,
Wow.
what is going on? I feel like I'm dreaming, but I'm awake.
Right.
And the first time it happened, I was in corporate still, and
Okay.
I had a team. I was a marketing director. And so one of the girls on my team, after our meeting, I kept feeling this like grandmother energy. And I couldn't explain it. It's like this older woman. I could like smell cookies, and I could see her nails, and I could see a tiara. And it's like she put what felt like a ruby necklace in my hand, and it got really hot and tingly. And I called her back, and I was like, I don't know what's going on right now, but after our call, this is what I'm
This is what I
feeling. I
experienced.
have no idea like if this has to do with you. And she was stunned, and she was like, oh my God. And she sent me a photo, her in her room, which I'd never seen. She had a photo of her grandmother with the tiara. She always got her nails done every week till she was like 90 something. All of these photos and images I saw like were there on her wall.
Wow.
And right on the dresser was a little black jewelry box with a ruby necklace in it, just as I had described.
Get out of here.
And
I have chills on my arms right now.
I was like, oh, because that really like,
It almost solidified, okay, this is something that I really need to open myself up to for you.
because it didn't feel scary.
Right.
Every single person I've ever had as a client, or I think they get nervous. Obviously, it's not, a normal thing to speak to people that have passed. But as I went on, first you open the floodgates, and then it's like too much energy. And I'm like, how do I turn the tap off? And so I think so many people have this ability. It's just the amount of open-mindedness and unlimited thinking you choose to have.
Right.
When you start accepting those gifts, you also have to learn how to turn the tap off, and how to protect your energy, and how to cleanse your energy.
Right.
Like for me, water is so important. Like I take a shower almost 2 to 3 times a day sometimes.
Okay.
And definitely before bed, I try to always rinse, like just get the day off, get people's energy.
Yes.
Like it's not that it's bad.
No.
It's
but
just,
it penetrates.
it's not yours.
Right.
And so, and people ask me like, well, what does it feel if you're like around bad energy or around just what, and to me, when you used to go to restaurants, maybe I'm aging us, but in the 90s when
Girl, please don't age
would,
us.
when
I don't need to be aged any more than I already am, okay?
Well, at one time you could smoke in restaurants.
Yes.
And so I'd sit in the restaurant with my parents, and when you get home, there's smoke on your clothes and
You
in
can
your
smell
hair.
it. Or if you go to like a bonfire at the beach.
A bonfire. Anything.
That scent sticks.
That scent, that smoke, that it sticks to you, and it's not yours.
Right.
But it's on you, and you immediately want to shower and cleanse yourself.
Yes.
That's how it feels to be around like negative energy.
Wow.
To me.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So in writing your book, okay, what are some key points in your book that you think is lacking in today's society? Oof. Is it taking the small things in life for granted, i.e. breath? Yeah. I mean, it is the thing that keeps us alive. And I think it's the small thing, or one of the small things, that we lose connection to, especially when we're going through trauma. Absolutely. So what are some key points in your book that you think will reside with a lot of people when they read it?
I think the biggest thing is your mindset on everything. And people throw around spiritual bypassing all the time. And honestly, I believe that a lot of people use spiritual bypassing as kind of an excuse to like be miserable and go through it. Right. Which I'm not saying you shouldn't feel your feelings. Right. You absolutely can and have them move through your body. But it's okay to choose a positive mindset.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to wallow and suffer and sorrow just to say you went through it.
Right.
Like I have a whole chapter of different trials and tribulations that have happened to me over the last 5 years from 2 different perspectives.
Right.
And it's super cheesy. I call it Doubting Darla and Courageous Kath, but it makes the point of one is everything from a negative perspective, because I did go through a lot of hard things
Right.
and loss and trauma.
Right.
But I can also look at it in a different perspective and be
Mhm.
like, hey, I actually got a lot of really good lessons from that.
Mhm.
And my soul grew and I gained more friends and more support. And at those times when I was so low, I got to see my community be there for me.
See.
And I got to be in touch with spirit more and with my
Mhm.
own energy and learn what I could do and get myself through and be able to self-soothe. Because even though I have a partner now, I don't rely on him to soothe me.
Right.
You know, it's
Right.
wonderful to have,
Yes.
but I don't need it.
Right.
And those are lessons that are, immeasurable.
They
And I
are.
think it's okay to look at things in a positive light. I
Mhm.
think a lot of what is taught now, especially on social media, is like, don't like toxic positivity is terrible and blah. And I'm not saying you should be toxically positive, but also you have the ability to choose your thoughts.
Right.
That is the gift we have as human beings. You can choose your thoughts, and your thoughts are going to manifest into your reality. They're
Mhm.
going to turn into matter. They are literally light coming into your brain and the vibration and frequency of them going down into matter. So
Yes.
every single thing around us, every single thing was a thought
Mhm.
at one time.
Mhm.
So I'm going to choose thoughts that are going to align with my highest timeline of what I want to do with my life.
Mhm.
That's my choice. It
Mhm.
doesn't mean I'm not going to sit there and scream cry some nights and,
Right.
let that out and feel my feelings, but I'm not going to wallow in it just to wallow,
Right.
you
I
know?
think it's, the feeling of victim, like playing victim,
Yeah,
is so much easier to be the victim than it is to be the survivor.
absolutely.
It takes grit, it takes self-awareness, it takes empathy, and it takes feelings
Yeah.
to have to wake up every morning and decide who you want to be that day.
Mm-hmm.
Choose what your mindset's going to be that day. And like you said, it all comes back to that mindset shift.
Mm-hmm.
My divorce was shitty, my marriage was abusive, whatever that may be for whoever is out there. Okay, that sucked, but what is the why for all of that? You're not going through things in life for absolutely no reason or
Yeah.
no learning lesson. I think we're
Absolutely.
all striving to be better humans or should be striving to be better humans. And I think when you change that mindset, I know for me personally, when I shifted out of victimhood and I shifted into empowerment and I shifted into grace and I shifted
Mm-hmm.
into empathy and, all the amazing things that I've experienced from creating this platform, then you see why you had to go through what you went through.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't just happen. You have to put it into play.
Absolutely. You have to go through it.
Yes.
And every single terrible thing that's ever happened to you, I guarantee you could find a positive lesson in it.
Mm-hmm.
And if people want to call that toxically positive, go ahead. But I can find something to learn in everything I've been through.
And I think maybe in the beginning stage, it's hard to see what that thing is.
For sure.
Because you're mourning. You're mourning a
Yes.
loss. You're mourning
Yes.
a loss of a relationship. And when people say divorce feels like death or a breakup of 10 years feels like death, it does feel like death.
It does.
But it's not. It's a rebirth.
Mm-hmm.
It's giving you the opportunity as an individual to touch that higher self.
Yeah.
But you can't expect others to do that for you. You have to do that for yourself.
Well, I think a lot of people, when you put that responsibility for your life back on yourself, that's really scary.
It
Because
is.
then you don't have anyone to blame. You don't have a partner, God, your environment, your parents. You don't have those
childhood.
people to blame anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's you who's in
Yes.
control of your existence. That doesn't mean bad things are never going to happen to you, but it's how you handle them. It's how you process them. It's how you use them and alchemize that energy into something useful.
Yes. And I think you'll agree with me too, because I got this from your book, is people are so detached from feelings.
Yes,
They don't want to feel.
they don't.
anything so that they don't have to feel, whether that's medicating themselves or, like you said, blaming somebody else or blaming it on their childhood.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people, and I have, people around me that have had very horrible childhoods, but they don't go around and point fingers at anybody. They say, that was my past. How am I gonna use that to propel me into my future? Right? Turning your
Yes,
pain into purpose,
for sure.
which is a big part of the podcast. And I think that resonated a lot with you. And I just greatly appreciate you reaching out to me. I mean, someone like you, I take as a gigantic compliment.
Oh, thank you. I immediately, when I saw you speaking, I was like, she has something to say.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to hear her story. I want to talk to her. I just was immediately drawn to you. And
Thank you.
I felt so connected in that way of moving through after a relationship, after, you kind of tie your identity to someone.
Totally.
And then learning who you are,
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy. It's a crazy experience.
It
But
is.
I think if people weren't so afraid to feel, they could move through so many things in their life. I understand it can be painful, but there is nothing biologically that is going to hurt you when
Right.
you feel.
Right.
But you can get hurt if you don't feel and you hold those emotions in your body, and those emotions get stuck as energy in different places in your body. And after years and years, that can turn into disease. When your body is not in a state of ease, when you're in dis-ease, that's what causes disease.
Right.
So truly not feeling your feelings can be very detrimental over time. And thinking about feeling them is 1,000 times worse than
It is. Than
actually
just
feeling
doing
them.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think too, a lot of people maybe weren't raised in households where feelings were allowed. I know a lot of friends where parents are just like, nope, nope, you can't show feelings. Gotta stuff them. Nope, we don't talk about that stuff. You're all right.
Yeah.
Stop crying. That's the biggest thing that I've learned with my daughter is you never tell a child. In the moment as a parent, it's very hard because I've caught myself doing it. I'm far from perfect.
Yeah.
But I try to be very in the moment with her. And when she has a tantrum, instead of saying, stop crying, I want to validate
Yes.
her feelings. I see you're having a tough time, right? Or, hey, you're having some really big feels today. Let's talk
Yeah.
about this.
Yeah.
But it takes so much effort. And I think a lot of people are very much stuck in their childhood traumas and they have to want things in their life